Hey everybody, Lord Tremendous here. Got another battle report here for you. 2,500 point battle. Again, some more Carnival of Chaos prep. This is battle report number 208 for you keeping track or too lazy to read the title. This is me, Lord Tremendous of the Undead Legion versus Stonemaster of the Dwarves. This is like the guy's second or third game with Dwarves. He plays ogres and Empire and stuff like that, but he just picked up the Dwarves from Death Holy Death and he wanted to try them out and he wanted a baptism by fire. So we actually beat the crap out of each other and it's fun. So sit back, relax, and get ready to see how this one goes.
Assemble the army!
Here's my list, and it's the same as the previous two battle reports because all these games were played on the same day. I have my Vampire Lord, Lord Tremendous. He's a level 4 wizard with heavy armor, Abyssal Terror, or he's riding an Abyssal Terror. Damn it, I'm going to get that right eventually. He's got the Sword of Might, Enchanted Shield, Talisman of Preservation, Other Trickster, Shard, Quick Blood, Red Fury, and he uses the Lore of Vampires. My hero choices are my Lich Priest, Queen Elizabeth, who's a level 2 wizard with a Dispel Scroll and Lore of Light, a Tomb Prince, Dark Vincent, with a great weapon, armor of Silvered Steel and a Dragonbane gem, and of course my Necrotech, Sinister Jeffrey, who's got a Dragon Helm and the Iron Curse icon. My core choices are 5 Skeleton Horseman Archers with a banner, 44 Zombies with a banner musician, 58 Skeleton Warriors, the Fateless, with full command, hand weapon, shield, and light armor, and 13 Skeleton Archers, the Queen's Guard, with full command and light armor. My special choices are 10 Black Knights with lances, barding, banner musician, and a banner of eternal flame, 1 Spirit Host, 3 Medusa Stalkers, those that gaze, 3 Morghast Harbingers, and of course my rare choice is my Casket of Souls. My opponent's list is as follows, and I know you guys are going to notice this during the game. Well, some of you will, some of you won't. Now everybody will, but there are a couple of extra choices on the field that didn't make it into his list. It was an accident. We realized it after the game. It's not a huge big deal. It's only the second time ever playing with this particular list. He had multiple lists. He was, in the first game he tried one, in the second game he tried this other one, tried to field everything off of memory. So yes, there will be some things on the table that aren't on this list, but this is the list that he gave me. This is what he should have fielded. We realized it after the fact. It's not a big deal. We were only playing for $4,000, wasn't a huge big deal. But anyway, he has a Dwarf Lord on Shield Bearers with a runic weapon that had the Master Rune of Swiftness, Rune of Fury, and the Rune of Cleaving. And then he had runic armor with the Master Rune of Gromrel. His hero choices were a Runesmith with the Runic Talisman with the Rune of Warding and 2 Spellbreaking runes. Then he had another Runesmith with a Runic Talisman of the Master Rune of Balance and a Rune of Spellbreaking. And then he had a Thane, who was his BSB. He had the Runic Standard Master Rune of Valia and the Ancestor Rune. Then for his core choices, he had 24 Correlers with great weapons, 30 Dwarf Warriors with full command. His special choices were 20 Ironbreakers with full command, and they had the Runic Standard with the Rune of Stoicism. I believe that makes him stubborn. And then he had a cannon with the Engineering Rune, Rune of Burning. So flaming shots, yay! He also had 2 Gyrocopters. His rare choice was a unit of 20 Iron Drakes with full command, Runic Standard, which was the Rune of Slowness ×2. So, brutal list all by itself, but not exactly a gun line, so I was happy about that. Here are my spells, which are exactly what you're looking at. And since he doesn't have any spells, we go into deployment. And for the most part, he wanted a baptism by fire, and I planned on giving it to him. I put my casket way over on the side there just because I figured it was safer over there. My Morghast and my Black Knights were going to go right through the house and try to use the house for like a little bit of cover in case he decided to shoot at him. The Morghast are skirmishers, so I figured the extra -1 was better than nothing. My Skeleton Warriors and my Zombies, I really just figured I'd shoot them forward as fast as I could because other than the Dwarf Lord and the Iron Drakes, there was nothing in this army that I really feared to face in close combat. Maybe that's ignorance, maybe that's, genius, I don't know, but that's the way I went with it. I had my General back behind my Knights and everything like that because he moves faster than all of them anyway. And I wanted, in case I didn't go first, I wanted to have that hard cover save. Well, I guess he couldn't get the hard cover save, so never mind. That was stupid of me, huh? Anyway, that's, and the Spirit Host just out there because I couldn't think of anywhere better to put him, and the scouts over there to harass his engineer and his what's it called, his war machines, because I wanted to finish them off as fast as possible before they finished me off. Here's my opponent's right flank, which I believe that is his unit of dwarf warriors and his 2 gyrocopters. And here's his center, which consists of his correlers, his cannon. That is a, what's it called? Organ gun that shouldn't be there. There's an engineer behind them that shouldn't be there. So, yeah, mistakes were made. And here's his left flank, which consists of my scouts, his unit of Iron Drakes, and his big old unit of, what is it called, Iron Breakers with his Dwarf Lord. And I think his Thane is in there as well. Here's my right flank, which consists of my Spirit Host and my Zombies. And here's my center. From bottom right to left, we got my Archers with my level 2, my Skeleton Warriors with my Necrotech and my Tomb Prince, my Black Knights, my Vampire Lord, and my left flank, which consists of my Morghast and my Casket. Here's top of 1 after movement, and I got to go first, which is awesome. So I did. I moved fast. Everything moved up. The Morghast moved up there full 10. My general, he didn't move up his full 20, but he moved up pretty quick. The Knights came out from behind the house because I just wanted to get across as quick as I could. Skeletons moved up. Zombies couldn't march. Spirit Hosts couldn't march. So everybody just moved up their movement there. Even the Archers moved up 4 inches, which I was proud of them. And my Scouts stayed put because I forgot about them. During the magic phase, I just get the low-level gaze, or I get the gaze and the gash off on the one that looks like a bomber. That's really just another gyrocopter. And I'm able to slip a wound through, so that was kind of cool. And then after pulling out his Dispel dice, I get the casket off on his cannon, and he rolls like a 15 for his cannon. He was out of range of his BSB, and the cannon explodes. It did bounce to the organ gun and the engineer and the Iron Drakes, but they all made their leadership no problem. And yeah, but you know what? I'm fine with that. I got the cannon out of the way before he could even use it once, and I was proud. I was very proud. Nothing happens in shooting or combat, so we go into bottom of 1 after movement, and you're looking at it. The gyrocopters move around a little bit, mostly staying over on his side, because he couldn't get them anywhere that was an inch away from me or anything like that, and he couldn't, you know, and stay out of my charge arc, so he just kept them over by his lines and stuff like that. He does move his Iron Drakes up a little bit. He did that after this picture, as you can see. But other than that, for the most part, everything that he has stays still. During his magic phase, nothing happens, but during his shooting phase, his correlers take aim at my Black Knights and find the sweet spot on 3 of them. That hurt my feelings a little bit, but, you know, I'm figuring, okay, well, I'm going to charge in there next turn and murder all of them. Maybe I can invocation a little bit and save them, but I was not happy about that at all. My Black Knights usually do a lot better than that, but it is what it is. You know, I can't fault the guy for taking great shots, you know? Nothing else happens, so we go over here to top of 2 after movement. And true to my word, my Harbingers and my Knights slam into those correlers because I want them to stop shooting at me. My Scouts move up slightly just to get a better angle at stuff. The Iron Drakes were my current target. My Spirit Hosts move up because I want to charge it into the Iron Drakes to stop them from shooting. My Zombies move up a little bit just to give him something to think about. I didn't really want to charge them in or anything like that, but the idea was, you know, hey, look, there's a big old thing of zombies here. Threat, threat, threat. Meanwhile, my Skeleton Warriors daring him to charge into the zombies, get in a position to countercharge just in case, because that would be a sweet flank shot. My Vampire Lord moves up, pretty much ignoring the Dwarf Warriors because there's not a threat. And, the Vampire, his job was to take out that organ gun before he could cough again. There's a better picture of my Knights and my Morghast and making it into the correlers, and as long as I don't flub, it should remove most of the correlers from the game. During the magic phase, once again, I get Gaze and the Gash off on the same gyrocopter, just trying to kill it off, and of course, I only do 1 more wound to it. I'll take it, you know, it's not the easiest thing to wound at strength 4, but it's steadily going the right direction, so I'm happy. Nothing else happens in shooting or magic, so we go into combat, and I flub pretty spectacularly, actually. And the correlers at strength 5, which drives me nuts, were able to murder a bunch of the Black Knights and even do some damage to the Morghasts. So after combat res and everything, I'm down to 2 Knights and 3 Morghasts. It was not good. Not good at all. I did kill a lot of the correlers, but I lost way too many Knights. Just rolling poor. What can you do? So with that disappointment, we go over here to bottom of 2 after movement, and he does a little bit. His Iron Drakes kind of, turn to face the Skeleton Warriors because they're scary. The Organ Gun turns to face the Skeleton Warriors, which I'm fine with. That's a perfect thing for him to shoot at, on my side of the table anyway. What else? His Gyrocopters move around a little bit more, not a big deal. His Dwarf Warriors move their 6 inches or whatever it is, like basically just wheeling to turn to try to get into this fight. And his Iron Drakes start moving towards the zombies. Again, perfectly fine with that. Nothing happens in his shooting phase really worth note. I take a wound or two, some skeletons die. My general's mount takes a wound. It's not a big deal. So we go into combat, and I'm able to finish off the rest of the Corralers. I do lose one of my Morghasts. He does some serious damage to them, but in the end, I end up winning. They're stubborn, I think, or steadfast, but they don't make it. They're out of range of the BSB, and so they flee. The Morghasts go after them, and my Black Knights restrain to turn and look at that gyrocopter that's over by my generals. So the idea is to get a hold of that damn gyrocopter and kill it. And that's exactly what I do in top of 3 after movement. My Black Knights charge that damn gyrocopter, and I'm hoping to kill it. My general charges the organ gun because I want it dead. And my skeletons and my zombies just stand there and go, hey, look at us, look at us, look at us. My archers move up to take pot shots at the Iron Drakes. And my snakes come up in front of the Iron Drakes. Not my intent. They scattered pretty spectacularly right in front of the Iron Drakes. They were supposed to come up behind them. But it is what it is, and they were going to Care Bear stare at the Iron Drakes to death, hopefully. My Spirit Host moves to countercharge the Iron Drakes if they go into the snakes, and my scouts continue to just harass the Iron Drakes, because the less shots he has, the less damage he can do. There's a better picture of his my Black Knights hitting his gyrocopter, and I'm feeling pretty good about that. And there's a better picture of my general slamming into his organ gun, and I feel really good about that. Nothing worth note really happens in the magic phase, so we go into combat, and sure enough, the Knights win combat against the gyrocopter because charge and a banner to nothing. And he breaks, he flees, he gets away, and now I'm in perfect position for his dwarves to charge me. I didn't see it. I didn't see it at all. It is what it is. I fucked up. But over here, I did well. My general destroys the organ gun, turns to face the Iron Drakes, because I was just kind of hoping to spin him around. His engineer panics and almost goes off the table. And yeah, now most of his shooting is dealt with, so I feel pretty good about that. So with all that said and done, we go over here to bottom of 3 after movement, and sure enough, his Iron Drakes turn to face my general, because he thinks I'm charging in there, and that's nuts. His big unit of Dwarf Warriors, though, do charge my 2 remaining Black Knights and get them, and that's completely my fault. His Gyrocopter rallies, his Master Engineer rallies, and everything else just kind of, looks around. Oh, yeah, and his other Gyrocopter runs over to look at my, Archers, which I'm not really thrilled about, gotta be honest. There's a better picture of his Dwarf Warriors slamming into my Black Knights, and he earned that. I completely got outplayed there. Nothing happens in shooting, so we go straight into combat, and yeah, combat res alone. I think I kill like 1 of the dwarves, and yeah, I got poofed. It was sad. It was very sad, but it is what it is. I should have been playing smarter. With that all said and done, we go over here to top of 4 after movement, and now I have Dwarf Warriors to deal with because I let them get way too close. So my general runs over there to get ready to countercharge the Dwarf Warriors when they go into my skeletons. I shift the skeletons over a little bit so that it's harder for the Iron Drakes to reform once again and then go after me. My Morghasts move back 10 inches because I do not want to see the Iron Drakes in combat. Other than that, my Spirit Host just kind of moves around because his Iron Drakes didn't charge last turn. They shot instead and didn't do very well. The zombies stay where they are. The archers do a swift reform and make it, and so they turn to face the gyrocopter that's back there. The hope is to put the last wound on it and kill it. Other than that, yeah, we just hang tight and hope for the best. During the magic phase, I get the big Shem's Burning Gaze off on this gyrocopter and finish it off doing the last wound to it, so that's awesome. And then over here, I get Invocation off, and I boost up my Morghast and heal a wound off of my Terror. So, just longevity. Combined shooting in the shooting phase from the snakes and the scouts, finish off the drakes, which is absolutely outstanding. I have been doing damage to them over the course of the game. This didn't happen all at once. As you can see, my snakes have taken some damage, both from themselves and from the drakes. But yeah, the combined stare and shooting from the scouts was enough to finish off the drakes finally after a few rounds. So that's nice that that unit's out of the way and I don't have to worry about them anymore. And with no combat, we go over here to bottom of 4 after movement. And there's a little bit. His Dwarf Warriors don't take the bait. They do not charge into my Skeleton Warriors. Probably because he wanted to do the template with his Gyrocopter into the Skeleton Warriors first, which I can't say is a bad idea. I would like to, but I can't. So yeah, he's gonna flame my Skeleton Warriors, and that's pretty good. His Iron Drakes move 6 inches towards the Morghast, and the Morghast are fine with that because they can move 10 inches away. Other than that, everything he has is dead in combat or right where you see it. Nothing happens in his magic phase, obviously, so we go into shooting, and like I said, he flamer templates the Skeleton Warriors and does 4, 8, like 12 wounds to him. Or 12 wounds get through anyway, and that was painful to say the least. But yeah, smart. With all that said and done, though, there's no combat, so we go over here to top of 5 after movement, and I decide, screw it. My Skeleton Warriors and my General charge into the Dwarf Warriors. I figured this is my best chance to get a hold of them. My Morghast move back because I don't want anything to do with the Iron Drakes, and my Scouts and my Snakes and everything like that turn to look at the Dwarven Engineer because I want him dead. You know, the Iron Drakes are the only unit I'm really not interested in this game, so whatever. There's a better picture of my Skeleton Warriors and my General slamming into the Dwarf Warriors, and I'm looking forward to that. During the magic phase, hey, it worked so well the first time, why not again? I do the big Shem's Burning Gaze at his Gyrocopter and do like 5 wounds to it. I know, it's only D6, I'm well aware of that, but I'm rolling 5s and 6s for the amount of hits, and it's working out. So yeah, another Gyrocopter spirals into the ground and explodes. After that, I get Invocation of Nehekov on my Skeleton Warriors and bring back, I think it was like 8 or something like that. It was a decent amount, so that helped a lot. That was nice. And then during the shooting phase, combined stares and shooting from the Scouts finish off the Engineer, which is awesome. We go into combat, and it goes really well, actually. My General, is able to just myrtlate a bunch of the Dwarves all by himself. The Skeleton Warriors actually do okay. They murder a bunch of them, but they take a lot of wounds in return. I think I lose 8 or 9 Skeleton Warriors, but he loses more, Dwarves than I do. So, yeah. The BSB is in this unit, by the way. I was wrong, as well as a Runesmith. They lose this combat. They are stubborn, but they don't make their roll. They roll like an 11 or a 12 like twice, and they flee, and everybody pursues, and we catch them, and they die. So all the Dwarf Warriors are dead. The Thane's dead. The Runesmith is dead. I think all he has left is his Iron Drakes with his Dwarf Lord in there. And so we go over here to bottom of 5, and my opponent is frustrated because all he has left is his Iron Drakes with his Dwarf Lord. He really can't get a hold of me because I'm running away from him. And so we had a chat. He surrendered at this point, so the game was technically over, but he was like, I don't understand why I could never get my Iron Drakes in combat. And I was like, because Death Holy Death was right there too, and he's like, because that's a terrifying unit. It's like fighting Iron Guts. Nobody's going to want to do it unless it's on their terms. I was like, yeah. I was like, I don't need to fight that unit. I left it alone and went after everything else. I have no desire to fight them because they'll eat me alive. And he was like, well, so what am I supposed to do? You know, I was like, take something else. You know, we had a conversation, and I was like, you know what? I'll show you why nobody will fight that unit. So here is a lesson from Lord Tremendous on why I showed my opponent nobody's going to fight the Dwarf Lord in the Ironbreaker unit. So enjoy this colossal blunder and momentary lapse of judgment. I was like, sure, I'll show you why nobody will ever face that unit if they know what they're doing. So we go over here because bottom of 5, he surrendered, he had nothing to do. So we went over here to top of 6, and I charged. I sent my Morghasts in, which have already proven themselves. I sent my Spirit Host in, which only his Dwarf Lord could really hurt. And I sent my Snakes in. And all in all, most units would crumble and perish to this attack, this charge, because that's a lot of points charging into your brick. And this isn't a horde brick or anything like that, so I know it's stubborn and all that. It ain't going anywhere, but it's just one of those things. I thought about sending my general in, but I just couldn't do it. My skeleton warriors and my zombies weren't in the right position, so I just showed him. I was like, okay, there's 3 units into this unit. This is not going to go well for me. And he was pessimistic, we'll say. There's a better picture of my Morghast, my Spirit Host, and my Snake slamming into this unit. The unit is facing my Morghast, so I do have 2 guys in his rear right now. During the magic phase, I get Hellish Vigor off on the Morghast because I don't want to be, known as the guy who intentionally flubbed this. I wanted to show him, even with all the advantages, this is not going to go well for me. And then we go into combat, and he immediately makes a liar out of me. He flubs spectacularly. My Morghast take about 3 wounds from his Dwarves. I was able to kill off his Runesmith that was in here, as well as a handful of the Ironbreakers. I win this combat, but he's stubborn and doesn't go anywhere. So, yeah, that wasn't expected, but he rolled really poorly. So we go over here to bottom of 6 after movement, and there's none. We go back into combat, and he rolls average. I was able to Killing Blow his Dwarf Lord with my Morghast, which made me laugh because I never Killing Blow anything of importance. It figures when I'm trying to teach something, However, he is able to just thunder stomp the rest of my unit. My Morghast get obliterated. My Snakes get hurt pretty bad. Even my Spirit Host takes some wound after combat, whereas I think I lose by 2. So in the end, if this combat had kept going with the Snakes and the Spirit Host in his rear, he would have turned to face, which he did. He made his leadership and everything like that because he's stubborn. My Morghasts are dead. My Snakes and my Spirit Host would have been dead next turn, and that is why nobody charges the Ironbreakers with the Dwarf Lord installed. Granted, I got really lucky and I got Killing Blow on his Dwarf Lord and I killed him, but more than likely, on average, that's not going to happen. So this is why you don't charge Iron Drakes with the Dwarf Lord installed. And that was it, fellas. That was the end of the game. And fellettes, sorry. As you can see, I'm missing my Morghast, which is sad. But the Iron Drakes are all that's left. And like I said, he surrendered in bottom of 5. So it was just more of a lessons learned type of thing than anything else. But all in all, I'm still pretty happy with this unit. I want to change, or this army. I want to change a few things, and even my opponent, like, after bottom of 5, we were talking about how he wanted to, because he really liked his Quarrelers, so he's talking about a unit of, like, 40 Quarrelers and stuff like that, so very interesting, but you know what, we'll get to the recap in a minute, because right now, this game is over.
That's it, man. Game over, man. It's game over.
Hey guys, you know these tokens, you've seen them 100 times, and you know what? Every time you see them, if you haven't bought them yet, you're just wasting time. Get these tokens. All of the lords of whatever spell you're casting, all the wound counters. You see me use them in every single game, and you've never heard me since I've been using the counters going, I can't remember how many wounds I had, or what spell was on this guy, or whatever. And they're flawless. They're awesome. You're the envy of everyone you play against. Send Token Gal an email. Get these tokens. They're dirt cheap, but they're solid gold quality, guys. I'm telling you, you cannot go wrong. A lot of people have already ordered them, and nobody's returned any. Nobody's even asked to return any. All they do is they order more. Get yours. Get them soon. You're wasting time, and these are totally worth it. Tell her Tremendous sent you. Hey guys, I got another great deal for you. Movement trays. We all use them. We all need them. If you're watching this report, you have some or you need some. And do I have the vendor for you? This guy makes solid metal movement trays. I mean, cuts them to your specifications using a galvanized metal. It's not that cheap, thin, weak aluminum. This stuff is sturdy. I'm using them. I used them all throughout this game. Take a look at the pictures. They're all in there. I love these trays. They're metal, so they auto-magnetize, well, provided you put magnets on your guys, and he does them dirt cheap, guys. I'm telling you. He's got an eBay page. There's an email on here. get a hold of this guy, get yourself some movement trays, and get yourself organized. You're going to be thrilled. You can paint them, you can do everything. These things are awesome. My local game store guy is literally in contact with this guy so that he can become a vendor. That's how high quality these things are. So I'm telling you guys, give this guy an email, check out his eBay page, get yourself some movement trays, and stop playing like a Neanderthal. Tell him Tremendous sent you. You won't regret it. Yeah, that's right. I don't know if you were paying attention or not, but we got a few new pictures. So not only does Unleashed Wargaming paint amazing models for commission and stuff like that, send him an email. He does excellent work, as you've seen from the pictures. Not only does he do all the different Magic lore cards for Warhammer Fantasy, I mean every lore. You want Storms of Magic? Send him an email. You want Lore of Fire? Send him an email. You want every lore that's ever been out in 8th edition? Send him an email. These things are solid. They're laminated. They're on cardstock. They're Photoshop made. They're amazing. And they're good. They're well priced, guys. I'm telling you. And now he's also doing 40K cards. The psychic stuff or whatever. I don't play 40K, but if you do, there's nothing wrong with that. But there is something wrong with it if you don't get these cards and if you don't have your models painted by them. Just throwing it out there. Just, you know, you may, if you feel guilty, that's because you know you're wrong. But send this guy an email, get your models looking good, get the cards that you need, get your real game going, and tell him Tremendous sent you. You're not going to regret it. That's right. You knew this was coming eventually. In conjunction with Unleashed Wargaming and Lonehammer, we have opened an online store with hats, shirts, and I think that's it for right now. Maybe dice and stuff like that later on, as well as other gear, maybe, you know, dice cups, whatever. We'll think of something. But we're doing a trial thing. For the next month and a half or so, we're going to have this online store. The website is here. It'll be in the description of the page and everything like that. But yeah, if you want a t-shirt, if you want a hat, if you want to wear paraphernalia, by all means, head over to this store, check it out, get yourself some Lord Tremendous gear. God knows I have. and yeah, this is your chance. If you like Lonehammer, if you like Unleashed Wargaming, if you like Lord Tremendous, you can get this stuff. And if you don't like us, you can get it and you can set it on fire and send it to us as a threat. It's awesome. But yeah, go to the website. It'll be here. It's on this channel, obviously, or on the description, and get yourself some gear. We're going to try it out for a month and see how it goes, and if it keeps up, then we'll keep adding to it, and if not, well, we'll pretend like we never did it. But yeah, guys, by all means, and if there's anything you want to see on the store or anything like that, throw it in the comments section, and if we like it, we'll make it happen. So, like I said, it was a victory for Lord Tremendous. My opponent surrendered at the bottom of 5. I ended up losing my Black Knights, and I did lose the Morghast after the fact, but I did lose them. The Dwarves lost everything but the Ironbreakers. My opponent had a few more units on the table than he should have, the Organ Gun and the Engineer, but you know what, it was cool. We realized it after the game. He apologized. It was not intentional. It was just like, oh no, I shouldn't have had those things on there. That was on my other list. It happens, everybody that's listening, raise your hand if you've never made a mistake in Warhammer. It was a friendly game. We weren't playing for anything, so not a big deal. But for those of you at home that realize that were paying attention, yes, he had a couple of more things on the table than he should have. Not a big deal. The Casket did really well, taking out his cannon first thing in this game. I was very pleased with that. But my Black Knights, poor bastards, just didn't have a great game. Lost 3 to Quarrelers, and then lost another, what was it, like 5 in combat. That really hurt. Like, it was impressive how much damage they did. But they still stuck it out there for a while. Almost got the gyrocopter, and then I got suckered, and yeah, that was stupid on my part. But Black Knights finally got wasted, and that was just bad luck and poor playing on my part. So I'll take that one.
There's some real potential in this army, or the Dwarven army anyway. My opponent is already going over new list ideas, like I said, talking about 40 Coralers and, just going more of a gunline themed list than anything else. So I'm looking forward to seeing what he comes up with. It should be fun to play him next time. But showing my opponent why most people wouldn't fight the Dwarf Lord and Ironbreaker unit was a real wake-up call for him. Like, I don't think he realized just how dangerous that unit was. So yeah, I don't think that it'll be there, or at least it won't be the same setup as next time. Maybe it will, I don't know. But yeah, I hope I never have to do that again. But this was a great game. He's still a great opponent, and it was a lot learned today. Like, I learned that I'm still stupid with Black Knights, and he learned that Iron Drakes are terrifying. So, or not Iron Drakes, Iron Breakers are terrifying, so people will leave them alone. But it should be a really good rematch. It should be a lot more intense, and I believe I'm looking forward to it. Definitely, should be fun. And yes, there will be a battle report. But that's going to do it for this battle report number 208. As always, if you guys have any questions, comments, concerns, or complaints, feel free to put them in the comment section below. And as always, I will reply because I enjoy that. But yeah, that's going to do it for this one, guys. I appreciate it. Thanks.